I'll just let that video play. I've just got a few slides for you today, but I'd love for it to be interactive. So if you've got questions while I'm talking, please let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah. So basically we have like a two-sided marketplace where we have people that own RVs on one side who have invested a significant amount into the RV and they usually only use it for a few weeks a year. But on the other side we have people that would love to go away on this type of holiday but don't have access to this type of facility. They don't maybe not have all the camping equipment they require and they would love to be able to access this type of holiday in an easy way. So that's basically what we do. We connect those two people together via a pretty easy to use system and we allow them to put in a booking request and transact on the site in a quick way. So I just wanted to go over a little bit of stuff about sharing economy because sharing economy can be a bit of a confusing landscape sometimes. So we call it collaborative consumption and so we're fairly and squarely in the peer-to-peer space. But there's a lot of other sharing economy type businesses out there that fit into various other areas of the landscape as well. So we're part of a group called the Sharing Hub, which is a collaborative consumption group with all of those guys at the top there in it and some other ones as well. So we kind of all work together on different sharing economy type of things for the government and for the wider public as well. So, it all comes down to basically connecting those two wants. I have something, you need something, and let's provide a technology platform that we can easily use to transact and provide that experience together. So I just want to give you a bit of an overview of the market size. Australia is this one here. So we have around about just over 500,000 registered RVs in Australia, so about 502,000 roughly. But these are just some of the other markets. These are all in Europe, these markets. So you can see that the German market is around about 1.8 million. The French market is around about 1.2 million. And England is around about, I think they're 867,000 odd. So it gives you a bit of a understanding about where Australia fits into that RV landscape, and everyone sort of thinks straight away that Australia is much bigger than especially the rest of Europe, but actually Europe is a lot bigger than what we are in terms of RVs as well.
But in terms of, per 100,000 people or whatever, Australia would be up there.
Per capita, definitely, yeah. But as a whole of market, yeah. And this is similar with nights spent camping as well. So you know, we're kind of, once again, this one here, around the 11%. So we spend, on average, about 19 million nights a year camping, whereas the French market is actually the biggest one, and I think they spend about 42 million nights a year camping, so it's a significant number. So it gives you a bit of reference.
Sorry, can I interrupt?
Sure.
So those figures are the number of French people camping in France?
That's the number of nights they consume. So one person might go away for 5 nights, 3 times a year. So that's sort of aggregated together. Okay. Yeah. But yes, they are in France. Yeah. Yep, in that country. Yeah. So this is a bit of an overview, a bit more detail about the Australian market. So we have roughly 9.3 million people that go camping every year in Australia, and they consume those 19 million nights. And you can see there's a big discrepancy between the amount of people that actually have an RV and the amount of people that actually go camping. So there's a huge opportunity to connect those two markets together to provide a better experience for everybody involved in that. So there's some of our customers. So we've got 4 real different key segments of who lists their RV on Camplify to hire. So we have people that are happy to either drop it off somewhere, set it up for someone, people that are happy to have people come to their house, take their RV away, and that might be a self-drive or a motorhome or a towable. And then we've got people that own more than one RV and have worked out how much money they're actually making out of this, and have started investing in more and more and more. So we've got a guy up in Brisbane, for example, who's now up to his 12th RV. He's quit his full-time job, and he just hires out RVs through Camplify full-time. So I think mixture of camper trailers, a couple of vans, and a couple of caravans as well. Yeah, so I think over the Easter period, for that 7 days of Easter, we put about 13 grand in his bank account. So he's doing pretty well out of it, which is great.
How many did you start with?
1.
Just 1?
Yep. Yeah. So he just heard about us, bought an RV because he just wanted it himself and thought I might as well try and pay it off, and then quickly realised how fast it was and to make money, and did the numbers and went, well, if I finance these, I only need to actually hire them out a couple of nights a month to actually pay them off totally, and the rest is profit. So, yeah. And on the other side, these are the hirers typically. So they, once again, go into 4 key buckets. There's people that want to go on a road trip and go on multiple destinations. There's people that just want the RV set up for them in one location. They just drive in and everything's done for them. There's people that want to go to an event and want something dropped off specifically for that event because there's not enough accommodation. Or there's people that want to actually buy an RV, but there's no facility for them to actually do a try before you buy or a test drive like you can with a car. So they can come to us and try multiple different ones and see how they actually work. So this is basically how we make money. We take a commission on every booking. We have a excess reduction product which people can choose to take on that booking as well. We have an online e-commerce platform for our customers to buy products that their hirers may need. And for some customers, we also charge them a premium membership because they're more business focused and they're looking for additional services outside of what the Camplify platform by itself provides.
So recess reduction product?
Excess reduction? So basically, if you go and hire a car, for example, you'll turn up and they'll say the excess is $5,000. Would you like to reduce it for X dollars per day? So we provide the same. Yeah, exactly.
So how does the insurance, you make up the insurance work for the owner and the rent?
Yeah, so everything that's hired out through us has rental insurance. So I think that's actually, I've got a slide on that, I think.
That's okay.
Do I? I'll come back. But yeah, basically we've negotiated a product where the customer can be insured comprehensively with whoever they like, but whatever it's hired out through our platform, we have a per day rental insurance for them. So I just wanted to give you a bit of background on sort of our journey and where we've come from and what's next for us. So Basically, we defined an idea very quickly. We did it on a PowerPoint deck, put up a landing page, and we applied to the Slingshot program with only that. Just who our customers were going to be, what we're going to do, how we're going to service those customers, and then basically applied to that program, got in that program. It was a 12-week accelerator program. At the end of that, we raised $650K to build out the product. And then we've grown very quickly from that point. So the $650K we raised in August 2015, I think. And then, is that right, Christy? Think so? Yeah. Since then we've basically grown extremely fast to be one of the biggest rental fleets in Australia, and on track by the end of the year probably to be the biggest in Australia. And at the end of that, we only in February we raised another $2 million in funding, and that primarily came from Apollo RVs, who's Apollo Tourism and Leisure, I should say, who has the biggest rental fleet in Australia at the moment in terms of RVs. So there's usually two big players in Australia. There's Brits and Apollo. They're the two big ones that have most of the RVs. So Apollo invested in us in that round. And at the moment we're expanding into the UK market, which I'll talk a little bit more about as well. So I just wanted to go through a couple of things that we did in our accelerator program. So this was our land canvas that we did right back at the start. And essentially things really haven't changed very much since then. So, we kind of defined our problem. We looked at our customer base. We looked at what was our unique value proposition. We've probably built that out a little bit more than what we had at the start, which is good. Or as our unfair advantage. So, right back at the start, it was pretty much our association with NRMA. And I think that's remained, but we've built on that as well since then. Who our customer segments were, which is basically what I showed you before. And essentially what the concept was and how we were going to actually build this out for our customers. And we essentially have gone back to this regularly and looked at how is this in line with what we had originally thought. Do we need to change things? Is this going to work for our customers? How can we pivot and make things better? So you can see down the bottom here in our revenue streams, we originally had thought that we would charge a 10% for booking fees. We're now at 20% because it wasn't viable, and that we were going to actually have the facility to book holiday parks as well through our platform. But when we looked at the amount of tech and the work to actually do both those things, it was enormous. So we decided just to focus on the actual vans, and then we may look at the holiday parks at a later point in time. Okay.
How did you estimate the cost structure for the?
Yeah, look, it was a lot of it was guesstimate.
How close was it?
It's pretty close. We obviously things changed as opportunities came up, but we essentially used that to form a budget, and then we just went, okay, well, if this is working and we're getting a significant amount of customers, then let's just continue to ramp it up so we can push down our cost of acquisition for customers. So, yeah. So has anyone been in an accelerator program? No? One? Okay, cool. So I just thought I'd give you a bit of an idea about what an accelerator program does for you. So essentially the key thing that the basis of what an accelerator program is meant to do for you is to help you to get funding for your business. So prove out your business model, prove that it works, help you to start on the process to get customers, and then be in that ability to actually help you get funding. So, and that's pretty much what Slingshot did for us, is we were able to identify what those particular customer niche points were, and how we could actually build out those customer roadmaps, if you like, so we could actually provide a good product for our customers. So we got a lot of shit done in 90 days. We essentially went into it with nothing, right? So we had no customers, we had no product, we had some ideas about what we thought it was going to be, and at the end of that 90 days, we had the basis of what was an MVP, so minimum viable product ready for us to actually push out to our customers and start to get those customers transacting with us. And along the way, we had signed partnerships, we'd done everything pretty much to get to the point where we could actually raise that capital. So it was a very, very intense 3 months. So this gives you a bit of an idea about where we're up to at the moment. So I think actually we've got a few more listings now since I did this a couple of weeks ago. So we grow very fast. We have about 150 new listings every month on the site. So it grows extremely fast. And our members grow very quickly as well.
Was the original association with the NRMA and possibly their membership important in kickstarting that supply side?
Yeah, we thought it would be, but it became pretty apparent that we needed to build out our own customers first because we needed to find our own early adopters of the product and find out exactly how they were how we could service those customers. And then once we did that, then we have now gone back and started to work with the NRMA membership base a bit more. So we haven't actually really ramped up stuff with NRMA yet. We're about to do that in a couple of months' time when we have some specific offers dedicated to them. And then we can roll it out to the other membership bases with the other roadside organisations.
And just a follow-up question, what has been your most successful kind of strategy, I guess, in finding your listings in terms of how you're reaching out to them?
Yeah, it's probably PR, to be honest. So, and my PR person sitting behind you, she's got a big smile on her face. So, essentially it's combining all those things together, but really PR has been getting the message out there to people and getting people talking about it. So, when they go to a barbecue on the weekend and, caravan owners tend to work in groups. So, they'll all talk about it at the barbecue and say, hey, have you seen that new thing on Sunrise or the Current Affair or something? Have you thought about it? Have you looked into it? One of them will do it and then see how it is, and then the rest of them will follow. So that followed up with some pretty aggressive digital online strategies to really help those people to actually convert, but getting the message out there, definitely PR. So this gives you a bit of an idea about where we're going in the next 12 months here in Australia. So we want to get to 3,500 RVs, and that will make us the biggest in Australia in terms of a rental fleet. And just really focus on providing a great customer experience for those people who would like to go camping, but perhaps only have access to a tent and would prefer to get into a bit more luxury. So that's sort of where we're focused in that next 12 months. In the non-Australian markets, we've just established ourselves in the UK in terms of our business entity. We've established some key partnerships with a couple of really big partners. We just recruited a UK manager, so we're pretty much ready to get started over there and really ramp things up and provide the same sort of experience as we do here in Australia. So that's pretty much me. So I'd love some questions if anyone's got anything.
How many people do you employ?
Altogether, changes regularly. How many have we got to now? We've got about 13 now.
Here in Newcastle?
Some are here in Newcastle, so we've got 5 here in Newcastle. One in the UK, one in Johannesburg, who's a customer service person. So they're in the same time zone as the UK. And the rest are in the Philippines, customer service people. Yeah.
The last talk, we kind of got told Australians don't think big enough and, we've got to expand. What prompted you to go, we've got to go to UK now?
Yeah, we kind of knew from the start that we had to go outside of the Australian market. It wouldn't really be big enough for us to scale and build the biggest business big enough. So we had kind of always thought that we'd wanted to run the product once we'd launched our full product for about 12 months, see what was working, what wasn't working, and then look to expand to another market. So essentially we just looked for what is the best market fit for our product, what had the closest ability for us to scale it out quickly without a huge amount of competitors and without a huge cost investment. So we could have gone to the US as their next market, but the US we would have had to raise a huge amount of capital to be able to actually tackle that market effectively. And we didn't really have a high enough valuation at that point to be able to do that. So we said, well, what's the next best market for us? and it was the UK that has the best opportunity for us to expand quickly. And same language, similar culture, same type of product that what we have here. So yeah, relatively an easier choice for us to make.
What was your biggest challenge in the start in you know, like sort of the first sort of 6 months or so?
Oh look, there was lots. So you know, I think one of the things was making the jump to actually, you know, do this full time. So that was a big challenge. You know, I was working in the coal mining software industry. You know, it was quite lucrative. I was quite comfortable. So to actually, you know, make that choice to, you know, take a huge pay cut to do something that I thought would pay off in the end, and to convince other people to do that as well. So we've got some really good quality people that work for us, and you know, a lot of them have made that decision to do that as well because they think that it's going to pay off at the end. So you know, building out a really good quality team that could actually find those customers and you know, build the product out that would service the market, I think was one of them. Probably the other one was insurance. So actually getting an insurance company to understand what we were doing that wasn't a traditional insurance product, write a new insurance product for us, and believe that we could actually deliver them a profit at the end of the day. It took a long time, and you know, now we've got that, which is great. So.
Is it not NRMA?
No, so NRMA, who invested in us, are the National Roads and Motoring Association. So they don't actually do insurance. So they sold their insurance product to another company quite a few years ago. So they just have it's just branded as an NRMA insurance. So we have our own policy underwritten by Lumley that we've gone out and had written specifically for us.
Who did you do that through? Yeah, let me ask.
Through a broker in Sydney. I'd be happy to give you the details. Yeah, so they basically helped us to write that policy.
How did you begin to start building that partnership
With
the insurance?
the insurance company?
Yeah.
Basically knocking on lots and lots of doors and having lots and lots of meetings and finding out exactly what they wanted. So how the insurance industry works, how that particular broker makes money, what they want to see, and then just every time we had another meeting, just tweaking our messaging so it was more in line with what they were looking for, tweaking our products so it was more in line with how they felt comfortable, and then just continuing to knock on the doors until we actually found one that said, yeah, we're willing to have a go.
So in those meetings, were you actually selling your product, or were you just actually doing research?
Probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
So you know, it's kind of us pitching to them what we were doing, and then finding out, well, what are you looking for? You know, what do you want to see so that something is actually insurable and low risk for you?
And at that point, you hadn't had your platform.
We had our MVP.
Yep.
We didn't have our full platform.
Yep.
Yeah. So we launched that in, I think it was July 2016, and we launched the insurance product in August 2016.
Have there been many claims?
Look, I think we've had maybe since August 3 claims. Yeah, that's been all. So very low. There's some really good stats about looking at the rate of insurance claim or damages in the sharing economy versus a traditional model. And it's significantly lower because I go to your house, it's your product. You know, we have a relationship that we've been talking online for a while, and then we have a conversation, and so you really take a lot more care than you do with something that's more commercial.
How are you protecting your concept from other competitors like Airbnb?
Look, you really can't, to be honest. What you can do is try and get more and more unique selling propositions. So, you know, NRMA relationship, the insurance that we've got, building out the platform specifically to how our customers want to consume it, and then just building out as many customers as we can, providing better customer service, better brand, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's always another competitor around the corner, and you know, if there's not, you probably don't have a really good idea. So, you know, you just got to be better than them. Yeah.
So who are the other main players in the market, and how have they reacted to your new and unique platform compared to their traditional? How have they reacted to that?
Yeah, so in terms of like caravan hire, for example, there really isn't a big player. There's lots of little small players, and what we found is that lots of those have actually come to us and said, you know what, you guys are doing this way better than us. How do we become involved with you? So
Yeah.
that's what our premium product
So you're
does.
getting a lot of collaboration just from the smaller independent players.
Correct,
trying to
yeah.
join up.
Yeah, in terms of motorhome rental, it's really there's only two. That's Brits and Apollo, and one of them has invested in us. In terms of manufacturers, that's a little bit of a competitor, and I think a lot of the manufacturers really don't know what to do because they're kind of scared that they're going to lose sales. Whereas what we're actually seeing is that they'll probably get more sales.
Yeah.
So they're starting to talk to us about how we can actually help them to make more sales by showing that you can actually get a little pay off your RV in a similar way to what Uber does with their Uber fleets.
Yeah.
So
So are you collaborating with manufacturers?
we do have a couple now that we work with. We've just started that partnership in the last probably 3 months. So yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Looked like you didn't have an app at the moment. Is that something you're looking at?
Probably not. We're probably just going to stick to a mobile platform. We had looked at that originally. I do like the way that you can slightly customise a little bit more the interface with an app, but I really just want people to be able to go, I want to book something now. I don't want to download an app. I just want to go on the internet and book it. So
Justin, there was an article in the Herald earlier this year which was really great and went into quite a bit of detail. And one of the things it touched on was that the first platform you did build had some technical difficulties, and you want to talk about that a bit and what some of the lessons learned were?
yeah, sure. Yeah, so yeah, it was terrible to say the least. It was we put it together very quickly, and it really delivered probably about 20% of what we really needed it to do. But what it did do was meant that we did a lot of stuff manually. So we would actually go into the platform, go into the back end. The customer wouldn't really see that we were doing things manually, but we called it concierging. So we could actually find out exactly what the customer wanted, how they wanted to consume the product, and then that really helped build out our development roadmap. So in my previous role, I was an agile Scrum Master, so I was really focused on trying to build small changes all the time and not invest a huge amount of money into something that wasn't going to get used. So we really tried to focus on building something that our customers would actually use the features and like the features. And we still do that today. Really, there's still probably a lot more that we need to build out, that we're just sort of waiting to see how many customers will actually use those features. But yeah, I think some of our customers would ring us constantly and say, it's the worst website I've ever used, but I still really love your product. Can you help me to get a booking or whatever it might be? So we didn't mind that because that meant that the customers were actually talking to us. We could talk to them, find out what they wanted, and really, in the early days when we really didn't know a huge amount about the customer, we were able to learn heaps then.
And so have you stayed in contact with some of those people when you're adding a new feature? You ring up and go, okay, test this one out for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so our CTO, we're lucky enough to get him across from NIB, and he was in charge of digital product there. So he's basically, that's his life now. He talks to those customers regularly and finds out, here's a new beta feature. Can you test it for us? Give us some advice. Tell us what you think. Or we're thinking about doing this. Would you use this? How would it make your life better? And really have that those advanced users help us out.
And how many would there be? Like 10, 20? How many are you getting to?
There's about 150. Yeah, that we are sort of our more advanced users that will get to do that for us. Yeah.
Is there much variation within Australia? Different states that have picked this up quicker?
Queensland probably has been the fastest, and that's probably just because of the fact that there's a huge amount of caravans there to begin with. But also people want to go away on holidays there. So the people that have picked it up quickly at the start have made a huge amount of money. So that has meant that they've told their friends, and it's grown pretty quickly in that state. But we get surprised all the time by different areas that pop up. We've had a huge amount of growth just recently in WA, and it just seems to be like a couple of people start, start doing well, the word of mouth spreads, and away it goes from there.
What's user retention been like? Having people booking per week or per year sort of thing?
Yeah, so most people will probably consume our product from a hire point of view, maybe once, twice, possibly 3 times a year. So it's not a huge amount of people actually rebooking. But we do have, a little small percentage, probably about 5% that will book regularly with us. But I think we haven't really been around long enough to see what that long-term user retention is, because it's so infrequent as transaction at this stage.
Have you tried implementing strategies to increase that rate? Like, what kind of strategies have you used?
Yeah, so we have. We've looked at, basically partnering up with some caravan parks, for example, doing like a weekend getaway options instead of going away at school holidays, as a good example. But we're just looking at more of those now about how some growth hacks to be able to get customers to experience it regularly by providing some discounts and etc. into the platform.
Justin, if I wanted to rent a van at Crescent Head in January, I sort of know that the camping ground's booked out.
Yep.
What happens there? How does that work? Does the person that owns the van book the camping site too?
No, it's usually the hirer will book their site.
Okay.
But we are starting to get lots of people, I wouldn't say lots, but a significant amount of people who have started to say, well, actually I've got a massive property there where you can come and camp on my ground if you like, use my caravan, stay by the river, etc. So people are sort of looking at it and going, well, being a bit entrepreneurial themselves and saying, well, I can provide extra stuff as well as just my van for you. So, yeah.
And does that work, say, in Newcastle, in Merriweather or something, someone's got a van?
Just probably depends on what the council has to say, but in theory, yes.
So how's your social media presence like? Have you really gotten onto social media and advertising online and things like that? Has that brought a lot of customers in as well?
Yeah, it's been one of our key platforms. So I think at one stage when we were doing some stuff directly talking to Facebook, they had told us that we were one of the most advanced Facebook ad companies in Australia for a while there. We have about 350 custom audiences that we use, and we define those custom audiences based on different content that they consume, and then each one of those different custom audiences will present a different message to. So a different set of ads, a different frequency, and a different engagement once they've actually clicked on the ad or once they've watched the video through to completion, or 80% or 50%. So we've got a huge digital strategy that we've built out over a long period of time, and spent a lot of effort in actually making that work for us really hard.
Do you have statistics on the demographics of users? People?
Yeah, so the average sort of owner is about 38 to 48. Usually they've got 2 kids. A lot of them are small business owners, and usually they've sort of bought their van and they've realised how busy they are. They've got lots of stuff happening with their kids, and they're going away a few times of the year. So they're looking at, hey, I'm a business owner. I believe in getting a good return on something, so this is a good opportunity for me to do that. Our hirers, on the other hand, are usually a little bit younger. They've got younger kids, and they're kind of looking to get into the market potentially, but now they're looking at it going, well, I don't know whether I want to actually be committed to doing that, but I just want to have access to be able to do it. So they're kind of very similar types of customers, but just at different stages in life. And we're just sort of kind of connecting those two together.
So did you talk to other companies, obviously in other industries, that have that peer-to-peer platform, like Airbnb and Uber and stuff? Did you get in and talk to them to find out the ins and outs of how that platform works?
Yeah, probably not any of the bigger ones, but it's definitely the smaller ones that have been doing collaborative consumption stuff for a little while. So people like Car Next Door, Spacer, there's lots of them in Australia and overseas as well, and just kind of talk to them about what they found, how they built their platform, why they built it that way, what worked for them, what didn't work for them, and just kind of get their learnings and then say, well, what does that mean for our industry and our users, and how do we apply that as well? Yeah.
Is there a particular reason you only talk to the small ones, just because you're afraid that if you talk to the big ones, they'd be like, that's a good idea?
No, not at all. Just more easy access, really. That's what it is, you know. Airbnb doesn't really want to talk to us, or they didn't when we were as small as we were. They might now, I don't know. But yeah, just easier to be able to provide that, have that conversation with people at a micro level. And also for us, we find that we're a very localised service. So I'll hire something in my neighbourhood and take it away. Whereas Airbnb is actually about going to a destination, hiring something from that person at that destination. So it's slightly different.
Yeah.
So being able to talk to someone who's a localised sharing economy, peer-to-peer business is more in line with what we do.
Yeah.
Do you do any off-road? Do you have like any off-road campers and stuff in your fleet and things like that?
We do have them in our fleet, but you're not allowed to take them off-road.
Yeah, you say because it'd be too risky with your insurance.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can take them on a New South Wales gazetted road that's unsealed, but not off-road.
So not a fire trail or something.
Oh, if it's an approved road, but it's not graded, then that's fine. But if it's actual off-roading, like Fraser Island, for example, then no. Yeah.
So what's been the most fun thing about starting up?
Probably just building something really quickly, and seeing the amount of growth that we've had, and just sending people on holidays is great. It's better than digging stuff out of the ground. So that's been cool. Building a team, helping people to kind of do stuff that wasn't in a corporate environment. We can kind of do what we want. So yeah, just that freedom, I guess, of building something from scratch and seeing it grow. Yeah.
What were some of the biggest challenges you had in building a team?
Just finding the right fit, I think, is for everybody who's involved. So, because we are quite a small team and we all work so closely, just finding the right personalities to work together, I think is one. The other one is, we're very, lots of our workforce is remote. So managing those people, helping them with their expectations, helping them understand what we're trying to do, how we do things, making sure everybody's together in terms of working on something collaboratively. So yeah, they're probably the two.
As your team grew, like from the initial people that were involved, obviously your roles would change.
Yep.
Through time. So how did you sort of manage that?
So we started off the program with 4 founders. 2 of those founders actually dropped out. So it was myself and one of the other founders that continued. And then we had to look at, well, what do we need in the business, and actually go out and find people to fit the rest of the roles.
Yep.
So yeah, it was kind of a bit different. What are we all going to do in the business? We all kind of built it out. We added people to what we needed after those people dropped out.
Dustin, what's your long-term vision? Are you going to go to France and Germany?
Yeah, well, once we establish our foothold into the UK, then that'll be our jumping off point to the rest of Europe. So we'll work out what's the best market for us to go to next, and look into growing into that market pretty quickly.
Who's your main competitor in the UK?
It's not really a main one, to be honest. Most people that hire out their vans are doing it through Gumtree or Facebook, or there's a couple of small sites that do it. I think there's privatestaticCaravanHire.com and a few other little bits and pieces. But there's really no one who's established a foothold and actually we could say that they're our number one competitor. It's really it's a bit like when I used to sell mining software, our biggest competitor was Excel, because there was no actual other software that was doing it for us. It was just showing people a better way to do it. And that's kind of where we're at in the UK. It's showing people that, hey, if you've got a product that's purpose-built with insurance, with contracts, with a payment gateway, with all this other stuff, then it's a better way to do it than the way you've been doing it.
Justin, the Slingshot funding was critical in the way to developing the business, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. If we didn't have that to start with, then we wouldn't have been able to, quit our jobs and, start out doing this and spend money on discovering our customers through, you know, digital advertising and build out the product and everything. So yeah.
And Slingshot still exists, and there's still.
Yeah, absolutely. They've just done a Qantas one with Qantas. So I think that kicks off next week. Cool.